little white woman walked in and took control of the class. She pulled out these journals and she says, I want you to write. She says, you can use these tools to tell your story. And she got serious and she says, I want you to write. Write about the time you lost your friend who was mowed down in a drive-by shooting. Write about the time you were thrown off of a balcony for trying to defend your mother's life. Just write. She says, people don't understand what's happening in the lives of young people today. Just write. I don't care about grammar and syntax and all. You just write from your heart and we'll fix that later.
What books and stories are able to do is present to you an archive. And I have this conversation a lot about, we argue that books are mirrors or they're windows, but what books are also are time capsules. A teenager today can read about Selma, right? A teenager today can read all about Birmingham and can read about Four Little Girls, can read about Dr. King, and can read about Fannie Lou Hamer, and can read about the women's struggle movement and the gay rights.
For centuries, schools have been based on coercion, teachers making kids to do stuff they don't want to do. What's so exciting is in recent years there's been this amazing research on curiosity, the state of mind of curiosity. When you're in that mind state, you focus more clearly, you look more deeply. Holy cow! If kids' curiosity is activated, they don't need to be coerced.
35 years of school reform, innovations, restructuring, over the decades we've had different names for this stuff. We haven't moved the needle that much. Why? Why hasn't all that time and money and reform paid off? I'm convinced that it's because we have complicated, kind of complexified school improvement.
I didn't yet know what the new book would be. I always wait for some inspiration to strike me. And as it happened at that time, my father, who was very old and in a nursing home, was beginning to lose pieces of his memory. He didn't have Alzheimer's, but he was 90 or maybe 88, I don't remember exactly, but pieces of his memory were beginning to disappear. And so I was thinking about that. And I was aware that he was forgetting some things that had clearly been very painful for him during his life. The death of his first child, my elder sister. He didn't remember her suddenly. And so I began to think, hey, maybe that's a good thing if we could just obliterate the things that had ever been a source of pain to us. But then I began to think the way a writer does, but what if we did that? What else would we lose? And the beginning of the book that turned out to be The Giver began to appear.
If our goal with children is to help them move towards a readerly life where they are capable and confident in being able to read just about anything we put in front of them, then we have to look at the reality of what types of texts and literacy is expected out in the world. Visuals are an important part of that literacy.
So we go from that root as the home language, validating and affirming the sound system, the rule system, the vocabulary, or even the pragmatic language, which is the nonverbals, eye contact, hand gestures. And so that's validated through literature, through the students speaking, through the students writing. So we don't correct, we don't fix, we don't make it better, we don't use any deficit terminology.
I think that Out of My Mind resonates with readers because melody is universal. Melody could be anybody. Melody is anybody who is misunderstood, who wants to have a friend, who yearns to be part of the larger group. And I think that's why children and adults and teachers and librarians and educators have come to the book with such passion.
He is very good at rising above obstacles. He beat the odds to become the youngest person and only African American to ever fly solo around the world. He built a plane himself, made his historic flight, all before the age of 28.
I just wanted to fly around the world to prove a point that it can be done, and being a young black man and pursuing greatness, it can be done in science and math. That's really where it all started for me, and I ended up setting a Guinness World Record for being the youngest person and the first black man to fly solo around the world.
Team uses the design principles and processes from the arts to manipulate science, technology, engineering, and math. So arts act as the catalyst for STEM. STEAM truly is STEM and arts integration combined. Now, we have a variety of resources here for you that will dive deeper into those definitions and break them apart.
I'm excited to share some of this work with you because strong literacy skills help our children lead better lives in school, jobs, and career. And there's a lot we can do to help them build those skills.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, Arthur.
I was wondering, how much of the Arthur series is based on your life?
Wow, just about all of it. I think the best things happen in real life.